Who says the spring bowl is useless? Hello guys, this is UniversalGiant, welcome back for more of AM2R. Last time, we were exploring the Hydro Station, picked up a number of pickups throughout here, and I think there's one other thing we want to go after on the right side of the building over here. That one stray missile tank that we couldn't figure out how to get. I think there may also be something along the ceiling, but I'm not sure if I really care to go get it right now. Maybe. I kind of want to satisfy my curiosity because I think there's something there, but I also... I'm like 50-50 on it, I don't remember. If it's there, it'll be easier to get later on. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. But now that we have the high jump, we can go explore the place over to the left that we didn't go to before. It also makes navigating this place a lot easier. So if you remember here, we can just high jump straight up there. I guess I'll take the free heal while it's here. All of a sudden the music gets nice and quiet again. Looks like we're entering more breeding grounds. More Metroid shells. And of course, now that we have the high jump, they expect us to be a little bit more mobile. And of course, this is the point when the Metroids are going to get a little bit more aggressive. That guy cooperated. Most of them don't do that. It was very nice of him. I don't think we got any new scan for this place. No, it's just the same general breeding grounds, I guess. One other thing you may also notice, there's a pickup on the map. There's a Morph Ball Bomb slot there. Now, if you want to get out of here without taking damage, you can just use the Spider Ball to get back. It's obviously slower, and you really don't take that much damage the other way, but you can take it if you want it. Notice these places are a lot more open now that we have the high jump. Common theme. If a game gives you a pickup and expands your weaponry, your artillery, your mobility, expect the game to expect you to take advantage of it. Alright, I'm not standing up to move. It usually helps to be on your feet when you're trying to walk. You'll notice a lot of these Metroids, or at least their attacks, are horizontally based. So a lot of these areas are going to be laid out in such a way that their horizontal attacks will be a lot more annoying. And they're also starting to dodge my missiles! So if I could show you just how awkward it was for me to control this on a keyboard, the way I'm controlling it now, you'd probably have a laughing fit. I think I'm trying to control 3 buttons with the same finger. So I have my finger... Let's see. I'm constantly holding down the diagonal aiming button. I'm trying to jump with the same finger I'm holding down the diagonal shooting button with. And right next to it is also the actual shooting button, while I'm holding down the missile button. So all that's being done with 4 buttons that are all right next to each other. It's pretty silly. Okay, buddy, I'm getting real tired of you. One other thing I do want to point out while we're here is that we will be back. There is a thing up there. I think it's even that block, actually. if you see one block that looks a little bit different, I think that's the block we're going to want to remember. And that's the last secret in this game I ever found. Because you wouldn't expect to have to go all the way back to this one particular breeding ground area. But if you go down... No, I'll show on the way back up. There's another thing that'll hint to it. I think there's one more Metroid to go, though. Now, this one particular room I almost always fall in, so sometimes I just suck it up and walk along the grass on the bottom. Now, you can get over here onto the longer platform, but the problem is he doesn't like to cooperate with you when you're here. And again, you can notice that these things, the legs on these things are continuing to grow. They're getting bigger, longer, more aggressive with the things themselves. So you can tell they're probably getting closer to evolving again. Which is not good news, but they haven't evolved yet, so I'm still okay with them. Now, if only they'd cooperate with me like the first one did, that'd be great. Stay still when I shoot you, please. Alright, that should do it. There weren't any other Metroids down here. I'm pretty sure we explored the entire breeding grounds. I mean, we didn't explore the bottom part, but you'll have to take my word for it. There's nothing down there, so I don't feel like going there. So back out we go. Well, that's new. Gamma Metroid! The Metroids at this stage can now transfer negative charges from its nervous system into the horns, releasing electric arcs capable of disrupting weapon fire. So if that thing hits us, we're not going to be able to shoot it. The membrane containing the nucleus remains vulnerable, but the Gamma Metroid's exoskeleton has expanded for additional protection. Although its legs have reached their maximum length, they are unsuitable for locomotion. Instead, they can serve to capture their prey and drain their energy. So this thing's still going to be flying and not using its legs for walking, it's just going to try to capture us with its legs. And it can also fire electricity at us. Now, these things I am terrible at fighting, so usually I just prefer to get inside them and then fire repeatedly at them until they die, because I can't fight them well. And more often than not, it works. Believe me, if that fight disappointed you, we will have plenty of opportunities to watch me fail at fighting Gamma Metroids in the future, so do not be disappointed. But the one thing I did want to show off... Where was it over here? Which side was it? I'm not thinking of another area, am I? I'm pretty sure it's this one. Might need a rain check on that. Is it in this room? Maybe it is over there. Oh well, I'm sure I'll remember when I come back. Or is it up here? Oh, you know what? It's definitely up here. It's this one. That's the last secret in the game that I found. We'll be back there later. In the meantime, I'm pretty sure we've destroyed all the Metroids in the area. Right? Oh no, there's still one. Maybe that... Oh yeah, it's the one up there. Okay, I got you. It's the one that I skipped down on because I didn't go along the ceiling like I usually do when I first come in. So I know where it is. We can go up this way. Just that those little guys are going to be popping down every so often. I know you can get up there, Samus. Okay, Samus, have it your way. We'll go up this way. This is how you're supposed to get up here. At least it's the easiest way to get up here. What I usually do is come in from the very beginning of the area, and then go all the way along the ceiling, from right to left, and it eventually takes me where I need to go. But I think this is the way you're intended to get it, theoretically. I think they're about the same length, now that I actually go all the way here. Or maybe you can jump to it from that side. But either way, we're here. And you're here. So it looks like the length of their legs actually signals how aggressive they are. Because this guy didn't seem to want to charge at me. Okay, but that should be the last Metroid in the area. Yep, there it is. And just to make sure there's nothing up here, I'm like 90% sure there's nothing here. I'm probably thinking of 2 areas from now. Pretty sure there's nothing here. Yeah, let's not bother. I think that's everything we wanted to explore. So we'll make our way out of the Hydro Station. I mean, there's still a couple things that we'll want to do when we come back here later, but there's not much for us to do here now. We've gotten everything we came here for, destroyed all the Metroids, had a good time. All that's left is to finally make our way back into the normal cave area. And now that the lava's receded once again, we can make our way even further down. And as we go down, the music gets more and more ominous. But before we go too far down, you may notice there's a secret here in the map somewhere. You may also notice there's a section up here that doesn't have spikes. That's why. I like the subtlety. As we go further and further into the planet, the normal cave music starts to get a little bit different each time. And I guess this is a good time as any to show you. There's a wall there. Even if we wanted to go down here and tank the lava damage, we can't because there's a wall in the way. So it would have been interesting to see what the game would have been like if they removed those walls entirely and let you explore freely in a New Game Plus, but they didn't. And the walls are there, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. I think we can go through here, but I don't believe we can necessarily do anything here yet. So we'll just go up. These guys tend to home in on you if you're in their vision. I'm not sure how close you have to be to them in order to get them to see you. But I think you can already tell the wave beam tends to... It's difficult to get a consistent shot with the wave beams sometimes. We'll be back in that area later. That's another thing we can't do yet. Yeah, the wave beam's not always going to go where you want it to. It's probably the most frustrating beam to use, and I guess it's as good a time as any to point out, if you want to, you can turn stuff off. I can turn off the Varia suit, I can turn off the charge beam. Just like in Super Metroid, I don't think any other Metroid game had the ability to turn off abilities as you acquire them. But the option is there, and there's nothing wrong with having additional options. So if I wanted to make sure that my shots were always concentrated at a distinct point, I could take off the wave beam. I don't necessarily want to do that yet, but the option is there, and I like options. This takes us to a brand new area. I don't know if it gave us the thing for the new area yet, probably not. But this is sand! If you have automatic climbing enabled as you hold against a ledge, this is probably where you're going to hear the most of it. I forget how I prefer going about this area, which section I want to do first. I think inevitably I wind up going in a certain section first. This is probably the one I do first, for better or worse. Because we get the space jump! It's never easy, is it? The chorizo. Analysis of the Sentinel shows evidence of unknown organic tissue, most of it concentrated in the torso region. The chorizo's armor plating is light enough to give it great mobility, but also leaves it vulnerable to standard weapons. According to Chozo history records, the construction of such advanced types of sentries was performed exclusively by the most gifted. Created with biological matter and mechanical components, this makes it difficult to reliably calculate its combat abilities. So, a running theme that you'll see in AM2R is that this game does not like giving you things for free. If you get a pickup, chances are you're going to pay for it. I've never seen you do that charging attack. You're usually dead by now. But of course, you may remember we received the space jump, so they expect us to know how to use the space jump. And the lovely thing about the space jump, in this game in particular, is a lovely thing called respin, where if you've already fallen off a ledge, unlike in other games, or unlike most other Metroid games, you can get your spin back. So if you fall off a ledge, for instance, you can spin again. If you fall too low, you can spin again. And if you want to fire a missile and then go back to spinning, you can do that. Oh, I'm out of missiles. That's why it's not firing cores. I guess I just forgot how to fight this thing. I distinctly remember this guy being the first place where I died in the game. Because you just get the space jump, and before you really have a chance to test it out and just try it in a danger-free environment, they give you this guy, and he's no pushover. So he's the reason why, or one of the reasons why, if you've never played a Metroid game before, and for whatever reason you're playing this first, I'd recommend not trying hard mode first. I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying normal, but hard's probably too much for you, considering that there are a number of places in this game where they just drop you into a dangerous environment with a new pickup that you wouldn't be familiar with if you haven't played many 2D Metroids before. But now that we've destroyed that thing, we have some information on the place that we've walked into, the industrial complex. This factory assembles worker drones which are tasked with supplying SR-388's facilities with replacement parts that keep them running autonomously. Though time has left its mark, the machines have kept intact. Some combat drones are also constructed here. Robot workers are malfunctioning and show signs of aggression. But now that we have the space jump, we can go anywhere we want. Unfortunately, I don't think anywhere up on the ceiling is of any particular use to us. I guess we just keep going forward then. There is one area off to the right over here that we can't open because green. We can't do anything with green yet. And in here is an energy tank that we need to fire a missile at to open up. Trust me, that was a missile block. And that goes straight to another missile, and I forget if there's another missile down here or not. I guess not. Now we're back up to full on pretty much everything. And it is nice to know that you can hit things that are slightly off-screen. But most of these enemies you can just run past if you don't want to deal with them. Some of them, though, you can't. Like this guy. Now, hopefully you don't actually get to see this guy use the attack I'm most afraid of him hitting me with. Because as it mentioned in his little biography thing, if he grabs a hold of you, what he'll do is he'll stun you with electricity, and it will render you incapable of moving. He'll toss you against the ground, and it'll be exceptionally difficult to recover. However, there is a way that you can recover from that hit when he tries to slam you against the ground, similar to, I guess most people refer to it as teching in the Smash Brothers series, where if you just tap jump as it slams you into the ground, then you have a chance of recovering, being able to attack as opposed to being stunned against the ground. So again, it's something I hope I don't have to show you, but it'll probably happen at some point. Until then, this is UniversalGiant, and next time we'll head deeper into the industrial complex. See you then.